Shanti, how are you all? Hope you are doing fine on this Ram Navami. So we all know Ram Navami is being celebrated to mark the birthday of Lord Ram, and people, as they do with all other Hindu ceremonies, even for this they will wash their homes, they will cook some delicious foods, and they will offer to God Ram. Especially they will have a photo of Ram while he is getting thrown into a king. So that's what they basically do. They go to temples, they perform special puja, and in North India they also have Shobhyatra, where they publicly have the procession with people dancing and singing bhajans. But now we are going to see the real spiritual truth behind this occasion and how they celebrate this. For Ram Navami, they usually offer the buttermilk and another thing called banagam in Tamil. So it is basically a sweetened water, that's it. So this is what they offer to Ram. Unlike the birthday of Sri Krishna Gokulashtami, where they offer several kinds of foods, several kind of oily dishes, very delicious dishes, but that's not the case with the celebration of Ram Navami. And you should know the difference between these two celebrations and the differences in reasons behind the differences between these celebrations. So what's the difference? Why do they offer buttermilk, which is being offered during summer days in India to quench someone's thirst? It is even available free of cost on public places. So why do they offer that to Ram, but to Sri Krishna they offer very delicious sweets? What's this partiality all about? Usually Sri Krishna in his younger age is shown with butter in his mouth. So he is getting the butter, but Ram is getting the buttermilk, which is just the left out product after taking butter out of the curd. Does it represent something? And that is what we are going to see in depth. So to understand this, we should know the real secret behind not only this festival, but the secret about all religious festivals of all religions, especially Hindu religion, because all festivals mark a divine thing that happened in a particular point of time. Just to mark that time, they celebrate on a particular day, but that divine action happened over a course of time, say about 100 years. You can't celebrate for 100 years, which is why they have taken a particular day and they celebrate it. So to understand that, you should know the direct knowledge given by God, which is about this 5000 year time cycle. God says the first 2500 years is heaven and the next 2500 years is hell, and the same earth was heaven for the first 2500 years, and the same earth which was heaven in the beginning has become hell in the last 2500 years. God comes towards the end of each kalpa. This 5000 year time cycle is called a kalpa, and he comes in the end of Kali Yuga, and he reveals the spiritual secret about who we actually are and who God is, and about the past, present and future of this world. God says, you were initially deities in heaven 5000 years back, and now you have become ordinary men, and you have to endure many sufferings, basically because you forgot something, and God has come to remind us of that and to make us back into deities, so that we can take birth in heaven again. Because just as heaven is converted to hell, hell will also be converted back to heaven. So this is more like the conversion of day into night and night into day, and it continues eternally. Similarly, this world will either be heaven or be hell. That's it. But it is not as per religious beliefs that heaven exists somewhere else and hell exists somewhere else. No, this world was heaven and it is hell now, and the good news is it is sooner going to be converted to heaven within a matter of few years. And that's why God has come to give this good news, and also he comes with the directions that is necessary for us to be eligible to enter heaven. In heaven, while we were deities, we have no idea what lust is, what anger is, what greed, attachment or ego is. These 5 vices were not present in heaven, and as a result we had this enormous power of thoughts. That is, we can make anything happen just by having a thought of it. For example, if you want it to rain, it will rain. If you want it to stop, it will stop in that very instant. That's the kind of power we had, mainly because we were not slaves of these 5 vices such as lust, anger, greed, attachment and ego. And now we have lost that power, basically because we have become slaves for these vices. And the reason for that is we have wrongly considered or misinterpreted ourselves to be this perishable body. But while we were in heaven, we used to consider ourselves to be this imperishable soul or atma or spirit that shines like a tiny star in between the eyebrows, because that is where our souls are located. It is inappropriate to call that as our souls, because we ourselves are souls. Only we can call this body as our bodies and not the soul as our soul, because it is the soul that who we really are. And God reveals this thing. That's the difference between deities and humans, and that is the reason we have converted heaven into hell, by forgetting the fact that we are souls. In heaven, we had this soul consciousness. We used to consider ourselves to be the soul, and we used to interact with others with the consciousness that we are interacting with the soul and not with the body. And that is why we don't fall for the external beauty. So we had that power, and we lost it in hell because we forget the fact that we are originally souls. So we wrongly considered ourselves to be the body, because of which we have fallen for these 5 vices. So that is the reason we suffer, either due to many diseases or due to the natural calamities or political reason, whatever it is. The main reason is we have committed sins. What is the sin? These 5 vices. Why did we fall for that? Because we considered ourselves to be this body, and the only way out of it is to consider ourselves into souls again. and we have lost that power to conquer these vices, especially the lust. So to regain that power, we have to connect our mind back to the divine God, and God comes from here. This is his place of residence, and this is where we souls used to reside before we start taking birth in heaven initially. And this is exactly, we will be going back during the world destruction that usually happens every 5000 years once, in the process of converting hell back to heaven. And God comes just 100 years before the destruction, and he prepares us not to be afraid of this destruction, because it is only the body that gets destroyed and the soul is imperishable, and only thing that happens to soul is either it gets corrupt or it gets purified. The soul automatically gets corrupted on its journey into the hell, but it doesn't get purified automatically. We have to work for it as per the directions of God. And the process of purifying oneself is very easy, very simple. Just we have to consider ourselves to be the soul, and we have to constantly remember God. Till date nobody knows how God looks like, then how can they ever think of God? No matter how many days or hours or years you spent in praying or meditating, it's not going to reap anything, mainly because you do not know how God looks like. Then how do you think of him? You do not know the duty of God. You do not know the character of God. Then how can you think of him lovingly? So God reveals himself now. He enters an old man in the last 100 years, and he says he dwells here. This is called the soul world or Parandam or Parlog, and he is also a soul. He is also a point of light, a very tiny point of light that can never be seen either through naked eye or through any scientific instruments. So God is the tiniest particle, and we souls are also as tiny as God, because we are also souls. God is also a soul. The only difference between God and us souls is we take birth, and we take rebirth and rebirth and rebirth. God doesn't enter this birth and death cycle. He stays out of it, and it is clearly explained in Gita that God is the creator of the universe, but still he stays out of the universe. He stays right here, and he doesn't enter the birth and death cycle as we do, and that is the main reason he remembers this knowledge. He comes once in 5000 years during the end of Kali Yuga, and that's the only time God comes through this kalpa. And why does he come? To impart this knowledge to his children, we souls. And only by having this knowledge, so we can purify ourselves and we can make us eligible to enter back to heaven. And we have to remember God as a point of light, because he revealed himself to us. He enters an old man's body and he names him Brahma, and he gives this knowledge through Brahma, which is why in India they say Brahma creates the world. But Brahma doesn't create this world on his own. It is God Shiva who enters Brahma and gives this knowledge and makes us back to the deity, and the number one deity is Shri Krishna. And the God who makes us into that deity is God Shiva, and God is only one. And it is this God Shiva who is called Allah by Muslims and Heavenly Father by Christians, and God is one. And whoever takes birth out of a mother's womb, they can never be God. Be it Shri Krishna, be it Jesus Christ, be it Lord Buddha, nobody can be called God. So we can become Shri Krishna by making effort, but we can never become God Shiva. He is one, he is knowledgeful, only he has this knowledge, and he comes in the end and he gives this knowledge, which is why in Bible they have this revelation part as the last chapter of the Bible. As a matter of fact, whole Bible, not only Bible, all religious texts is just the revelation of God. It doesn't mean all words in those religious texts are the words of God, but words of God is also there along with the words of men. So words of men is called the words of Satan or Maya. So it just emerges out of certain people. What God teaches here, it gets emerged in the hell again in the next kalpa. It just happens naturally. It's a part of nature. So but it doesn't emerge 100% right. It is going to be just 10 to 20% right. All the 80 to 70% they will all be false, which is why people fight in the name of religions. They think their religion to be the religion created directly by God, but it is not true. So God comes only in the end not to create any religion but to create heaven, because he is the creator of heaven, which is why he is called the Heavenly Father. But Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Buddha, they were the creator of religions, not the creator of heaven. So God comes and he says we need to remember him as much as possible, because that is the only way for the souls to regain the power to conquer these vices and thereby become eligible to take birth in heaven again. So this is what God says, and this happens in the last 100 years just to mock the divinity of this period where we humans are converted back to deities through God's knowledge. All festivals are celebrated, be it Christmas, be it Navami, be it Krishna Jayanti, be it Diwali, whatever it is. Once we know that, we can understand what they all stand for. Actually in heaven, if we separate these one kalpa into 4 equal parts, they are called yugas. Each yuga will have 1250 years. The first yuga is Satyug, second is Treta Yuga, third is Dwapar Yuga, fourth is Kali Yuga. First 2 yugas comprises of heaven and the next 2 yugas comprises of hell. So Sri Krishna rules Satyug. So he is the first emperor of, to put it right, he is the first prince of Satyug, because it is this Sri Krishna who becomes Sri Narayan after getting seated on the throne. So people think wrongly that he is the avatar, Sri Krishna is the avatar of Mahavishnu, but the truth is it is Sri Krishna who gets converted into Sri Narayan after getting seated on the throne. Likewise, it is Sri Radha who becomes Sri Lakshmi after getting married to Sri Narayan. And there is not a single Narayan as we all believe, there are 8 Narayans. So it is more like that of Chola kings, where we call Chola 1, Chola 2, Chola 3, or we can call Pope 1, Pope 2, Pope 3. Likewise, there were 8 Narayans. It is this Sri Krishna who becomes the first Narayan, which is why he is called Adi Narayan. Adi means the first, and also the girl who gets wedded to this Adi Narayan is called Adi Lakshmi, that is first Lakshmi. So Narayan stands for the name of the throne and not the original name of that person. So in the path of devotion we have the term called Ashtalakshmi, which refers to 8 Lakshmis, but we do not know, we are not aware of 8 Narayans, because it is 8 different persons who got married to 8 Lakshmis. So we didn't know of these things now. And who is the second Narayan? The child that is born to the first Narayan is called the second Narayan, and the child born to the second Narayan is called the third Narayan, and it goes so for the first 2500 years, because their lifespan will be of 150 years. And in the next Yuga, Treta Yuga, comes the Ram's role. Just as there were 8 Narayans in Satyug, there would be 12 Rams, and this is not written in any religious text. That is why I said only God knows the truth, and He reveals it in the end. So Ram rules for the next 1250 years. So both Satyug and Tretyug, they are combinedly called heaven, but still Ram cannot enjoy as much as Krishna did. Well, Ram, he did not suffer anything, as mentioned in Ramayana, because in Ramayana and Mahabharata they mentioned they fight with asuras or demons. If they fought in heaven, then we need not try to enter heaven, right? So nothing of that sort happened there. They actually represent what happens right here. While we get knowledge from God, we don't fight with anybody. Instead, we fight with our inner enemies, called these 5 vices, or Ravan, or Satan, or Maya, whatever we can call it. So we have to fight hard to remove those vices completely out of our minds. And how do we do that? By gaining the strength, the yogic power that we get by connecting our mind continuously to God. So that is what Raj Yoga is all about. We have to consider ourselves to be this imperishable soul, and we have to think of God, who is actually the Father, who shines like a tiny point of light in the orange colored light world, because this Parandam will be orange colored light world. So the amount of effort we put in connecting ourselves to God, the more we get purer. So if we have got 100% power in conquering lust, anger, greed, attachment and ego, then there's a possibility that we can take birth in the beginning of heaven, and we will be the Krishna. So it all lies in our effort. The opportunity is equal, but the effort that we make, that's going to vary. It purely depends on how much faith you have in this knowledge and on God, and how much you are ready to sacrifice these vices. So this is the real knowledge given directly by God. And now let's come to Ram Navami. As I mentioned earlier, heaven will have all its pleasure, wealth, everything 100% in the beginning, and it's going to gradually decrease. So by the time it completes the first 1250 years, it's going to have its health, wealth, pleasure reduced to half. So it looks as if Ram is going to enjoy heaven that is left after having enjoyed by Sri Krishna and his fellow members who resided in the first Yuga, Satyug. And that is why they offer just buttermilk for Ram in Ram Navami, while they offer all sorts of delicious foods, very rich foods for Shri Krishna in Gokulashtami. So we have to find the difference. So a quick question for all of you who is watching this. Can you celebrate the birthday of your neighbor or someone who do not have any acquaintance with you? Can you celebrate the birthday of the American president or the president of some other country? So we won't, right? We will celebrate our birthday, or we can celebrate the birthday of our family members. That's it. We may take part in the birthday of our relations, but we don't celebrate it. But why do we celebrate the birthday of Ram? Is he in any way related to us or Shri Krishna? Now you would have known the answer, because it is we who is going to become Shri Krishna or Shri Ram based on our effort. So it is our birthday while we were with a great power. So that is why we celebrate Ram Navami or Gokulashtami with splendor. So how they do that is they will have the photo of Rama and Sita seated on the throne. So why should we celebrate that? Because it is our aim to become that, and it is basically reminding ourselves of who we were initially, and we have to become that again. Because I forgot to mention the great significance of this kalpa cycle. Whatever happens in one kalpa, that keeps repeating kalpa after kalpa. To understand it very easily, if you are watching this video now, undoubtedly you watched this video 5000 years back on the very same day. You will be watching the same thing over and over again in the upcoming kalpas on this very same day. It is that accurate. This kalpa repeats. So if we were Sri Narayan in the beginning, so undoubtedly we will become Narayan again, but we can't be that without making any effort, right? So we have to, because even in the past we became Narayan by making effort. Similarly, we have to make effort, and the effort is pretty easy. Just we have to consider ourselves to be this soul continuously. We have to remind ourselves that we are the souls. It is the soul that sees through the eyes, it is the soul that listens through the ears, it is the soul that speaks through the mouth, it is the soul that orders our senses to behave the way they do. It is how it happens, but we are not aware of it. Now we have to bring our awareness to the fact that we are the soul that orders. So that's the basic difference between the deities and the humans, because deities, they were soul conscious, humans are body conscious. Whatever actions one perform while being in body consciousness, they are going to be nothing but sins, and that is why we suffer. People celebrate the 9 days before Ram Navami and 9 days after Ram Navami. So they will have some kind of fasting where they take food for just once a day, and they will spend the rest of the day in remembrance of Shri Ram or by studying the scriptures like Ramayana. So this is what they do, and they believe that by worshipping Ram in Ram Navami, if they don't get married, they will be getting married, and they can profit in their business, they can get the job if they are jobless. So with these desires in their mind, they celebrate Ram Navami. But okay, that's fine while you were in the path of devotion, but the minute that you watch this video, you are no longer in the path of devotion, but you have got the result or fruit of devotion, that is the knowledge. You got the knowledge directly from God. What more can you ask for? So now it is not the time to worship someone blindly without knowing who it is. Now you have understood it is you. So it is now the time to become not just Ram but Sri Krishna. All you have to do is to give up these 5 vices, and you have to think of God Shiva as a point of light as much as possible. Only then we can get the power to conquer these vices. And while you are meditating on God Shiva by visualizing him as a point of light, you will experience a strange vibrating sensation in between the eyebrows. What happens is you are receiving the power from God, which is why you are experiencing that. And also you will see these 5 vices gradually having very less impact on you. So the more you put effort, sooner you can get out of these vices. And the thing is very easy. The Raja Yoga is very easy. Just you have to remember him. You don't have to stay hungry, stay thirsty, or chanting some mantras. Nothing. You don't have to take any pain. Just you have to remember him. While eating, you have to remember him. While walking, you have to remember him. While sleeping, while bathing, while working, whatever you do, just connect your mind with God and check if you are connected frequently. That's it. This is the only thing you are going to do. This is how 33 crores of deities came into India, and they are none but us. So we have to make effort. It is time for us to make that effort now. And if you think it's too soon to make such effort, to give up lust is something that you can't imagine, then okay, I have an option for you. What is that? Is if you still want to enjoy the path of devotion for a while before you take this knowledge, do one thing. Instead of doing those usual puja, why can't you do what Shri Ram is famous for? Shri Ram is famous for having one wife throughout. So now what should we do? We should stop looking lustfully of any girl, including your wife, just for this month. So that is the correct tribute you can pay for Shri Ram, for his chastity. That's his power. That's why he is remembered, right? So why can't you do that? Because practicing celibacy at least for a month will increase your divine power to some extent. If you practice it permanently, then that's very nice. If you think it's too much or too soon to practice that, at least practice celibacy just for a month. See everyone as sisters or brothers. More importantly, see their soul, not their bodies. Just while speaking with them, see in between the eyebrows. Then you will automatically be reminded that it is the soul that is speaking to you. It is the soul that is listening to you. So always have this habit of watching in between the eyebrows of the one whom you are speaking with. This is a very good habit. The more you practice this, the more you will see that you are out of the these vices that's been causing you enormous suffering. So because these vices are the main reasons that you suffer, either financially or relationship wise or job wise, whatever. So to put a complete end to that, the only way is to get rid of this body consciousness and to become soul conscious and to remember God as much as possible. So Ram Navami marks the celebration of Shri Ram's birthday. It is just to remind yourself that you were Shri Ram in the beginning. So it's not, don't be happy just with that post. Make some more effort to take the post of Sri Narayan. That way you can enjoy full heaven right from the beginning, because whoever takes birth, whoever enters this cycle, they can never go back until the end, when God himself comes back and gives this Raj Yoga, and then only we can go back. So whether it is Sri Krishna or Jesus Christ or Muhammad or Lord Buddha, everybody has to undergo this birth and death cycle, and they are all here in some other form. That's it. So they are all here. They are not gods. God is only one. It is God Shiva, and it is only by remembering him that our sins get burnt, and there is no other way. Om Shanti. Thanks for watching. And also, in addition to remembering God, someone has to tell you constantly that lust is the number one enemy. But the whole world, including the science and religion, they all say, well, lust is not bad, it is divine. But in reality, there is not divine. So only God tells the truth. All the rest, they speak only false things. So you have to stop listening to them and start listening only to God Shiva, and he speaks through Brahma, and that divine words is called Murli, and we can listen to Murli from all Raj Yoga meditation centers that is spread across the globe. You can Google it, or you can leave message in my WhatsApp number so that I can help you locate the Raj Yoga meditation center in your country, in your area. So this is the number I want you to leave message in WhatsApp, +91 98 946 71743. And thanks for watching. If you are watching till the end of the video, it obviously means you belong to the deity clan, because only deities can understand this knowledge. Only for deities this knowledge will look very attractive. So undoubtedly you are a deity, so you will definitely enter heaven. The last birth of heaven is guaranteed, and in order to get the birth right from the beginning, you have to make effort. The effort is pretty simple. Just you have to consider yourself as a point of light in between the eyebrows, that is the soul, and you have to think of your father of all souls, that is the supreme soul, God Shiva, and we can think of him very lovingly only if we know him more. So the only way to know him more is through his words, which is Murli. So keep listening to the Murli. You can also get it from the internet. If Raj Yoga Meditation Center is not in your place, mostly it would be there in all countries. So as I mentioned earlier, leave message to this WhatsApp number. And thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be updated with all my future videos. Thanks for watching. Please do share this video to all your friends and relatives of all religions and all faiths, because this is the God's knowledge and everybody has the right to know this knowledge, because everybody has the right to inherit the Narayan post in heaven. Om Shanti. Thanks for watching. Happy Ram Navami.